guys, so I'm here to do a review of the Max Factor Facefinity All Day Flawless 3-in-1 foundation today. And I've mentioned this foundation in my February launches, and basically it's a foundation that promises 3-in-1. So basically the three things are, it's supposed to be a priming kind of foundation. So there's like an inbuilt primer and concealer in there, and also protects your skin, which is with the SPF 20. So yeah, it's a 3-in-1. Now for this foundation, I'm just going to get straight into the reviews because I have somewhere to go after this, and I actually have a friend waiting outside for me. So basically this foundation comes in your average glass bottle, which is really nice and sturdy, but I already have visions of myself dropping this on the floor. It's going to splatter everywhere, so yeah, I don't like it. But then again, seriously, if this was to be plastic, I'll be the first to complain how cheap and tacky it is. So yeah, it's kind of like a I don't know, it's just weird. So I would prefer this in the glass bottle. It's really sturdy anyway, so it's not thin that I could drop it and break it straight away. I don't think so. So it's probably going to take a few tries for me to break this, but that's a good thing, right? So yeah. Now, to be honest, with the three claims, I don't think it's true. Like, for me, this foundation, I don't use my fingers to apply, and I think I did use my finger to apply it once, but I didn't like how it felt because it felt like it could be cakey and all that stuff. So I use a brush to apply this, but for my fingers, when I do use this, I feel like it's not as smooth, so I don't feel like there's an inbuilt primer. It doesn't, you know, there's no difference between this one and my other foundations. Some of my other foundations, they feel smoother, so I don't really buy into the claim that it does have like an inbuilt primer. As for concealing, it is pretty full coverage, so I would say that it does kind of conceal, I guess, because I find that it doesn't really, like, sometimes when I only have it on, like, I still have redness around my nose, but for my acne scars over here, it's actually really nice, and there's like no more redness, so that is really nice. But it doesn't cover fully unless I do build up the coverage, so I wouldn't want that anyways, because I don't really wear full coverage foundations a lot. But this one is a full coverage foundation. This foundation does remind me a lot of Revlon Color Stay, to be honest. I feel like it's lightweight and it has a matte finish, and also it's medium buildable, and you can get it to a really full coverage, and it's just similar in those ways. But I would prefer this one more because it's not as thin and runny as the consistency of the Revlon Color Stay, and it doesn't smell as bad. Like, this one has a more bearable smell. I don't know what it is. It actually smells nice though, so I do prefer this one more. And it doesn't settle as quick, so you can get more blending time with it, more time to work with it, so you don't have to rush, and that's a good thing, because I know that the Revlon Color Stay, it is just so, it's kind of like liquidy, and also it settles into the skin really quick. So I wouldn't say that this feels as lightweight as that one, but I would say that it is lightweight, so just not as lightweight as that one, because that one sticks to the skin and I don't like that. But this one, it sits on the skin really nicely, and it lasts for a really long time, but it just doesn't stick to the skin like glue. So that's just a brief comparison between the two foundations, because I feel like most of you guys would have used the Revlon Color Stay before, maybe, and I thought that would give you guys a brief idea of how this foundation would be like. So yeah, okay, now for me, I do have dry skin, so I would say that this foundation does have the tendency to actually cake around dry patches on your face, and for me it's just around here, but it's really slight and rarely does it do that. Right now I'm transitioning, like in Australia, it's transitioning to autumn, so my skin, the dry patches aren't that bad yet, but yeah, so right now it's just really minor, which I don't have problems with when applying this foundation. I would say that not even sometimes, like rarely do I get problems with this caking around those areas. So for me, I do have dry skin, so I would still be very cautious when I apply this foundation. Basically, I apply it with a buffing brush, and I use the Real Techniques buffing brush because I just love it. It just gives such a nice coverage and a flawless finish, so I do really like this brush. So basically what I do is that I stipple this on, and I try to, like, around the areas that I do have drier patches, I do avoid using buffing motions, because that really does you know, just put, like, it's not good for dry patches. So what I do is that I just stipple it on like this, so it just kind of blends in nicely, so it just sits on the skin. It doesn't what do you call it, I don't know what's the word, like, it doesn't aggravates, is it? Aggravates? I don't know. Those dry patches. So that's what I do. And sometimes I would mix my moisturizer, my Neutrogena moisturizer, with this, just because I feel like it just blends nicely, much more nicely on the skin than having it on its own, for me anyways, because I have dry skin. For those with oily skin, you guys probably wouldn't have any problems, but that's just for me. Now this foundation claims to last up to 12 hours, but when I wore it for 10 hours, I did go 10 hours with this, and I did notice slight fadings, which I thought was forgivable. Just a little bit of touch up would do, like maybe just a little bit of powder foundation. But then that's what happened for me at 10 hours. But this actually withstands heat and humidity pretty well, just because I did mow the lawn with this. So basically I came home from somewhere, I don't know, and I had to mow the lawn, and it was a really sunny day that day. It was like 25 degrees, so it was hot, and I was wearing this to mow the lawn, so it was really hot, and my face did sweat. My T-zone also did get oilier. And oh, I've got to mention that when wearing this, I noticed that my T-zone also gets oilier, like around 3 to 4 hours. And although I do have to blot or, you know, powder, I don't really mind for that, so it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, I do have like a bit of like an oilier T-zone, so that's just, you know, what happens for me. Anyways, back to the story. Anyways, by the end of mowing the lawn, and my lawn is pretty damn big, this foundation still stays on, and it's just, you know, a bit sweatier, a bit oilier, actually much more oilier, and you know, you can see all the shine coming through. But what I did was just powder it down or blot it, and that was fine for me, so it was just good to go again. So it does last pretty long, and I don't think it lasts as long as the Revlon Color Stay foundation, but I think it does last a fair amount of time, which is really good. So yeah, that's that for the lasting power. So overall, I do like this foundation, and I do think it's really nice. It's long lasting, it's lightweight, it has like a matte coverage, which I don't, matte finish, which I don't really prefer. I prefer dewy finishes, but it does have a matte finish for those who do like it. You know, it's really nice, and I do like it, but I wouldn't wear it on the daily though, just because I do prefer something more natural, more dewy, and something more lighter in terms of coverage. And also I just like something that's more hydrating for my skin. So something like the Face of Australia Lasting Looks foundation is something like, it's good for my skin, whereas if you're an oily, like normal to oily girl, then you guys would probably prefer this on the daily, if you guys do like matte, like a full coverage, sorry. So yeah, but this would also be good, I reckon would be good for photographic events like clubbing and parties, because it does, like I said, it does withstand the humidity and heat pretty well. So that's all for my review, and I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I hope I didn't forget anything. I don't think so, but oh, one thing I can actually tell you guys is that this is available in 5 shades, and the shade I have is Warm Almond with number 45, and I would say that it's a little bit lighter for me. I have it on right now, and also it's not as warm toned for my skin tone, because I do have naturally like some really yellow undertones. So this is just I would say neutral, maybe even not cool tone, I don't think so. It's just a little bit neutral, so it's not warm toned enough for me. So if you guys can find a shade for yourself, it would be pretty good, but that's a limited amount of shades in the range. So yeah, and that retails for $31.95, which could be a bit expensive. But yeah, that's all for my review. I hope I didn't miss anything. If I did, then let me know, and I'll get back to you straight away. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. I gotta go, so yeah, I'll see you guys.